Hello, welcome back to our channel, where we talk about fitness and health. This is episode 1 of the series, How to Start Your Fat Loss Journey.
Today, I want to walk you through a story about a 60-pound weight loss. But look, this isn't about some miracle diet or a magic pill, not at all. This is about a fundamental shift in thinking, a complete change in approach that finally made a real, lasting difference. We're going to break down the system that actually got the job done based on one person's really honest and raw journey from feeling totally stuck to finally feeling free.
Every story like this has a starting line, right? And for this one, it was a number staring back from a scale that hadn't been stepped on in years, 235.4 pounds. But it was so much more than just a number. It was the physical proof of years of avoiding the truth, of making excuses, and just feeling trapped in a body that didn't feel like your own.
And you gotta understand, that physical weight carried this immense emotional weight with it. This quote just nails it. That feeling of being on display, constantly worried that people are judging you, but at the same time feeling like nobody truly sees you. It's this crazy paradox that the scale just can't measure.
Okay, so here's our game plan for how we're going to unpack this whole transformation. We'll start with the moment that sparked it all, the painful catalyst. Then we'll look at why the first attempt was a total disaster. After that, we'll get into the big mindset shift that changed everything, see how consistency became the real engine for results, and then wrap it all up with the biggest lessons learned from the entire journey.
Every big change story has that one moment, that one trigger where you just can't pretend anymore. For this journey, it wasn't some big dramatic doctor's appointment or a New Year's resolution. No, it was something way more ordinary and honestly, a lot more painful.
It all came down to a single, candid photo from a family get-together. It wasn't posed, it wasn't flattering, it was just real. And in that picture was someone who looked tired, hunched over, and just completely defeated. That one image did what years of gentle reminders couldn't. It shattered all the denial in an instant. It was the truth, and there was no looking away.
Now, here's what's really important about this moment. You might think that seeing that photo sparked this huge wave of motivation, right? But it didn't. It was fear. A deep, gut-wrenching fear of the future. Fear of regret, of bad health, of not living the life you were supposed to. And it turns out that fear was a way more powerful, way more potent fuel than motivation ever was.
So with this fear as fuel, the first attempt at change began. And like so many people do, it started with an all-out sprint, just diving headfirst into what I call the motivation trap. This belief that if you just have enough willpower and go to extremes, you'll magically succeed.
On paper, the plan looked intense, almost heroic. A super low-calorie crash diet, a brutal workout plan 6 days a week, and a ton of money spent on supplements. But the reality? It was a complete and utter disaster. It was just constant hunger, total exhaustion, and it lasted all of 4 days. And the worst part? A few weeks later, all the weight was back, plus an extra 3 pounds as a little parting gift.
And here's the lesson from that failure. The whole plan was built on motivation, but motivation isn't a strategy. It's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's like a firework. It shoots up, looks amazing for a second, and then it's gone. You can't build a long-term plan on something that is guaranteed to disappear. When the motivation vanished, so did the plan.
Okay, so after that epic crash and burn, something had to change fundamentally. The real turning point came from an idea in James Clear's fantastic book, Atomic Habits. It was this total reframing of the entire problem. A shift away from obsessing over the finish line and toward focusing on the path to get there.
And this quote, wow, it just captures the entire shift perfectly. For so long, the focus was on the goal, lose 60 pounds. That's just an outcome. But you can't directly control an outcome. The secret, the real game changer, is to focus on your system, the things you do every day. Because when you're having a bad day and your motivation is zero, you don't rise up, you fall back on your system.
So let's make this super concrete. The goal is the what, lose 60 pounds. The system is the how. Instead of staring at that big, scary number, the focus shifted entirely to a simple, repeatable process. Eat around 2,000 calories and go for a walk 3 times a week. That's it. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't extreme, it was just doable. And that was everything.
So, with this new approach, the real journey finally began. This phase wasn't about big, dramatic weigh-ins or killing it in the gym. Nope, it was about building a quiet, steady, unstoppable engine of consistency, just one small action at a time.
And if you look at this timeline, you can see how it played out. Progress wasn't fast. That first month was just a 6-pound loss. But over 14 months, all those small, consistent days, they started to stack up. They compounded into something huge. There were no shortcuts here, just the incredible power of showing up even when you don't feel like it.
And let's be totally clear about something. This was not a perfect straight line down. Not even close. Life happens, right? There was a super frustrating 6-week period where the scale just wouldn't budge. There was a knee injury that put a stop to workouts. There were vacations, holidays, bad days. But because the foundation was a system, not willpower, it was strong enough to handle it all without the whole thing collapsing.
So, after those 14 months of trial, error, setbacks, and finally success, what are the big takeaways? We can really boil this entire experience down to a few core ideas that, honestly, you can apply to just about any big change you want to make in your life.
The lessons were so simple but so powerful. First, start smaller than you think is necessary, like ridiculously small. Second, focus on your system, not your goal, every single day. Third, just accept it. This is going to take longer than you want it to. Fourth, and this is a big one bad day or even a bad week does not mean you've failed. It just means you're human. And finally, the real work, the real transformation, it's not in your body, it's in your head.
And really, that's what this all leads to. The ultimate goal isn't just to hit a number on the scale. That's temporary. The real goal is to build a life, to change your habits and your environment so that being healthy becomes the easy choice. It becomes your new normal, your default setting. You're building a new identity, not just a new body.
So I want to leave you with this question to think about. Forget about the huge, intimidating goal for a second. Just ask yourself this. What is one tiny, almost laughably easy system you could start today? Something so small you literally can't say no to it, that if you just did it consistently, would put you in a completely different, amazing place a year from now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, which give us motivation to make better content for you. See you in the next episode.